Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a truly fascinating journey from what, honestly, most of us just consider a simple digital nuisance, straight into the hidden mechanics of global financial crime. We're unpacking the architecture of phishing and financial deception. We tend to think of phishing as just annoying spam, but as we dive into this today, we're going to see it is actually a highly structured, incredibly effective entry point for massive illicit financial flows. It's a real eye-opener.
So, let me ask you, have you ever received a sudden security check text from your bank? You know the exact scenario. You're going about your day, minding your own business, and your phone buzzes. You glance down, and boom, it's an urgent security check text from your bank, or maybe a payment alert from that utility company you pay every single month. It looks completely routine, right? It's got the right logos, that perfect tone of urgency. Have you ever received one of these? Because I know I sure have. But that familiar, everyday scenario, that is exactly the battleground we're looking at today.
Okay, let's dive into this and establish our baseline. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, defines phishing pretty simply. It's an attempt to get people to open harmful links, emails, or attachments that request personal information or infect devices. We all know it's a trap, right? It mimics a routine customer service ping, a rewards notification, or a security alert. But its true purpose is way more malicious. It's there to compromise your credentials, harvest your personal data, or trick you into taking an action that completely enables fraud.
And how does it work so well? It's all about the impersonation of trust. This is the core mechanism of the scam. Scammers aren't just hacking networks anymore. They are literally hacking human psychology. The FTC warns that scammers completely bypass our natural skepticism by impersonating trusted entities. We're talking spoofed banks, regulators, payment providers, your employer, even your favorite coffee loyalty program. The scam succeeds for one simple reason. The message appears credible enough to make you lower your guard.
And let me tell you, the scale of this impersonation is just staggering. 5,000. Wrap your head around that number for a second. In just the first half of 2025 alone, there were almost 5,000 reported cases of fraudsters impersonating just one organization, the Financial Conduct Authority. Now multiply that by every bank, every utility company, every employer out there. The sheer volume of these deceptive pings hitting our devices every single day is absolutely mind-boggling.
So to combat this, we have to contrast the actionable reality against the deceptive illusion. The FCA has a great quote here. The FCA would never ask for PINs, passwords, or money transfers. That right there is your actionable advice. It's a critical anchor of truth. Trusted organizations simply do not operate the way these scam messages claim they do. Remembering the sharp contrast between reality and the scammer's illusion is absolutely your first line of defense. A gateway to crime. The hidden domino effect. Now, what's really interesting about this is the massive criminal infrastructure hiding just beneath the surface.
Let's actually walk through the life cycle of this crime chronologically, because it literally acts like falling dominoes. Step 1 is the phishing event itself, that deceptive email or text we just talked about. Now, if the victim clicks that link or hands over their details, that critical first domino falls. And it leads straight to Step 2, account takeover. This is where criminals use those stolen credentials to hijack accounts or business inboxes. And that inevitably knocks over the third domino, illicit fund movement. The real, heavy-hitting financial crime impact comes later down the line, when that compromised info is used to move funds, recruit money mules, or facilitate even more scams. It's a whole systemic chain.
So when we say phishing is a professional financial crime enabler, we mean it triggers a massive cascade of secondary crimes. A clicked link doesn't just mean you get a computer virus. It enables unauthorized payments, it fuels synthetic identity abuse, which is where criminals literally piece together fake identities from your real data. Plus, compromised business inboxes lead to business email compromise, where fraudsters are redirecting massive corporate invoices or manipulating payment instructions entirely. It's a full-scale professional operation.
The financial ripple effect, macro threats. This naturally leads us to look at how this compromised information fuels massive illicit flows on a global scale.
To really grasp this macro threat, we need to look at the Financial Action Task Force's 2026 warning. Their paper makes it crystal clear. Once that initial deception succeeds, we see a rapid movement of illicit funds. Phishing sits perfectly within this wider digital fraud landscape that is heavily linked to money laundering. FATF emphasizes that this is a pipeline built for speed. Scammers are turning a stolen password into laundered, untraceable cash almost instantly. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why financial institutions are on such high alert. A single phishing attack threatens multiple control areas simultaneously. First, authentication is compromised the second credentials are stolen. Second, customer due diligence is completely bypassed because that stolen info is used to impersonate real, verified people. Third, payments controls are at risk when those hijacked accounts start firing off money to criminals. And fourth, communications integrity is breached because the scammers are flawlessly mimicking real business and customer interactions. It is a massive, multi-front assault triggered by one single deceptive message.
Breaking the chain, defense, and empowerment. Okay, let's just take a breath here. The stakes are obviously incredibly high, but we are absolutely not helpless. Now that we understand the threat, let's talk about how we stop it.
Building a mature defense requires a dual-layered strategy: preventive controls versus detective controls. On the preventive side, you need strong, phishing-resistant authentication, rock-solid secure communications, and really rigorous staff awareness. But honestly, prevention just isn't enough on its own. You have to back it up with detective controls. We're talking actively monitoring for unusual account behavior, spotting login anomalies, and flagging receiving account patterns that look like laundered money. You absolutely need both of these layers to survive this threat.
So, where do you and I fit into this massive defense grid? Right here with CISA's guidance on early intervention. This is the absolute critical step. The goal is to recognize phishing quickly, report the threats immediately, and prevent the chain reaction. If you can spot the deception way back at step 1, before any data is entered, before any links are clicked, you completely break the life cycle. You stop the dominoes from falling before a single cent of illicit funds can ever begin to move.
So, the crucial point is this: phishing is not just an IT issue. It's a core financial crime challenge. It takes our natural, everyday trust in digital communication and converts it into access, deception, and ultimately severe financial loss. Tackling this requires seriously coordinated controls across cyber, fraud, AML, and customer protection. It's a unified fight against a highly organized threat. Now that you've seen the entire architecture of this deception, I want to leave you with one final thought. The next time your phone buzzes with an urgent text from your bank or an email pops up from a trusted brand, will you just trust the illusion, or will you pause, take a breath, and question the source? Because the power to completely break the chain is, quite literally, in your hands. Thanks for joining me on this explainer today.